Hello YouTubers, welcome to my video, Easter of 2025. What do you see before you? I've finally completed the covering. Um, Hopefully you can see it all sat there in a lovely Kawasaki green. Those that know me well will know me why I've chosen that colour. But anyway, uh, today's video, I'm going to take you through the challenges that I had to get to this juncture. Um, Certainly, we'll start with the wings and then I'll move on to the fuselage. Um, we're almost ready for the maiden flight. There's a little bit that I need to discuss about somehow securing the hatch down below, but we'll cover that later. Um, but yeah, it's been really enjoyable. I've had a great time doing it. Um, okay, without further ado, let's have a look at the wings. So I'll take them off just to make things slightly easier to go through. These are temporary rubber bands. Um, I'll hopefully get some newer white ones. Um, let's just move that out of the way. Can we all see the wing? Yes, we can. Fantastic. So, what went right? What went wrong? Well, she got covered quite well and she sits quite flat, so that's good. So it hasn't warped. So I'm quite pleased about that. Um, what went wrong is as I was covering it, these end dihedral pieces broke. This one here broke off completely. Can you see just about here where my little finger is pointing? Um, there's a dihedral brace. Now the plan did say fit one just here. However, did I? No. so so silly Pete. So I put one in as per the plan, but then I thought, do you know what? Belts and braces, I'll put two. So I put a second one. So I've got twin wing braces. I've done that on that side and hopefully on the other. So these are done to stiffen up the wing tips, so the dihedral of the wing, and stop them breaking off when I'm flying it. So that that was one problem. Basically, silly Pete hadn't read the plan properly. Um, so yeah, it would have been a spectacular crash because they probably would have broken off mid-flight. But at least now I've got a pair on each side, so hopefully that's not going to happen anymore. Um, Again, the observant amongst you might say, Pete, what the hell is that? I don't know if you can just see about here where my finger is. There's a hole. That was caused by my good old heat gun. So here is said heat gun. I applied too much heat in that area for too long. Clearly getting used to using solar film again. Haven't done it for, wouldn't like to say how many years, but it's quite a few. Um, and I burnt a hole or melted a hole. So what I've done is just put another piece over the top. It doesn't look that clever. I guess on hindsight, what I should have done was cut out the offending hole and recovered the whole thing. But never mind. I, I chose to just cover it, thinking you wouldn't be able to see it. Guess what? You can. Luckily, when it's on the fuselage goes across where my fingers are, about here, and you don't see it too bad. So, but I know it's there, so it bugs me. But other than that, yeah, the wings went quite straightforward. So quite pleased with those. Yeah, again, quite simple. There's no ailerons fitted to these wings, so there's no steerable flaps or anything. So yeah, so quite an easy build for those. Now, if we move on to the fuselage, I think in my last video I said I had to work out how to put these pairs of pins in. Can you see them here and here? So these are basically dowels which I've put through the fuselage. I think I said I was going to have problems putting them through. Actually, it didn't work out too bad. I don't know if you can see just in here. Hopefully translucent. Yes, maybe just. You can see the pins gone through, and I've put a piece of balsa wood supporting it so it won't go up or down. And then there's two keepers, one on the back here and one on this side, to hold it in place. Um, so it won't move backwards and forwards. I've covered the dowels as well in solar film as well, which is quite straightforward. This one here was tighter because I had to get it between this and the servo. However, got it in there. Again, two keepers, so it can't move up or down, backwards or forwards. And it seems to be doing quite a good job at holding the elastic bands on. The bands themselves, these are just, I'm not sure which kit I got these from, but they're not very nice elastic bands. In fact, on the model that I've used them on, the ones on the model have actually since decayed and then broken or snapped. So I'd like to get hold of some better bands to hold the wings on. I think the idea that was on the box, which is to use a cross, is a good idea because that will pull equally across the aircraft. So I'll probably, you know me, belts and braces, I'll probably put one here, one there, and then a cross as well. Because I don't want the wings coming off. I wonder why. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Other than that, the covering of the fuselage went quite well. The rear fin all went okay with the elevator. The good news is, hopefully I can show you this, although demos don't always go to plan. Here's my radio control. If I turn on my transmitter, can you see the needle's gone across? Happy days. Turn on this. Hopefully, if I wiggle my rudder left and right, hopefully you can see that moving in the video. And if I move this one up or down, you hopefully can see the elevator moving. So I've got both elevator and rudder control. So that's good. So that's all kind of worked out okay. Something that didn't go so well was when I put the wings on, and I'll try and do it now quickly for you on video. Probably a mistake to do this, but here goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 5 there. Put this on here, pull this over, wrap it round here. I'll just do it roughly for now. There we go. And put one around here. I put the wings on for the very, very first time, so they kind of look like, oh, blast. Oh dear. Should have done this at the beginning, Pete. Okay, there we go, that'll do. So the wings are on. When I put my fingers underneath the wing to see whether the aircraft would balance, guess what? It didn't. And so at these points here, can you just about see that on the plan? That's my center of gravity where my finger is pointing. Okay, and that's just under these stringers of the wings. So that's about here and here, and basically it wouldn't go flat like that, which is what it should be in flight if it was flying correctly. So what did I have to do? I think you've probably guessed already. I had to add more weight. So in the front here, I don't know if you can see there's a block, and that's a block of lead. I basically melted some fishing weights in a ceramic mug with my blow lamp. Well, it goes warm very evenly, so I used the camping stove in the end. The camping stove melted the ball bearings, made basically a nugget of about that size. I folded it over, bashed it with a hammer. I even bashed my thumb at the same time, hence not having a very nice nail anymore, and made that fit in there. That's a 1 ounce weight, so it's an extra ounce added to the weight of the aircraft. How much does she weigh, you all, you all ask? Well, I've weighed it on my wife's scales, don't tell her, because I get told off for the kitchen use only. 6 ounces she weighs, but with this extra ounce weight at the front in order to give me level flight, that's given me now 7 ounces. So I think I'm kind of where I thought I was going to be. At the beginning of the project, I thought it'd be about 7 ounces, and that's where we've seemed to have ended up. So now the plans do say, I think at the top here, would I read it? Can't see it for looking. Yeah, there we go. Weight of original 2¼ ounces. So she should be 2¼ if she was built to the original specification, which was covered in dope and solar film. Sorry, dope and tissue. Um, but she weighs 7 ounces all in now with radio control and the solar film covering. So she's quite heavy to what the original spec was. So will it fly? I personally think it will, and I've been pursuing with the project. However, we'll soon find out if it doesn't. Obviously, she is, yeah, 7 ounces. She is a bit weighty, but I think now I've got the C of G in the middle. Hopefully, she's going to fly okay. But I guess we'll find out at the maiden flight. The weather's starting to pick up, which is good. So maybe that might be in the next few days. Who knows? I'll call it based on the weather. Um, one last thing before I let you all go. That's here, this flap on the bottom. You can see I've covered it in solar film. Now this is only held on at the minute by a wing and a prayer. Can you hear that noise? That was this stuff, which is Velcro. Oh no, which is a bit primitive to say the least. So you can hear the switch, the battery. I still need, before I do my maiden flight, to recharge this little metal hydride battery, ready for the flight, and also charge the transmitter. So both the transmitter battery and receiver battery need to be fully charged before the flight, so I get the best range between transmitter and receiver. So I needed a better way. The reason I had this flap on the bottom was so I could get to the servos in here. I can adjust the servo horn here and here if I need to adjust the throws, make them more or less sensitive. So good idea, Pete. However, how do I hold this cover on? Now, at the moment, I'm holding it with Velcro, and that's pretty rubbish, as you can see. I don't like it. But I need a way of holding this on. My thought is here, about here, maybe drill through and put like a oh, sorry, I don't know if you could actually see that. Drill through and maybe have like a pin with a flat piece of balsa on. So as I turn the pin, the flat piece of balsa will come round and maybe touch the top of these two rails and hold it on that way. I fancy that idea more because it's okay, it's mechanical, but at least it'll hold on, and I trust mechanical things more than I trust good old Velcro. I know I've used Velcro in other places for the receiver. Also, the weight's held on with Velcro, and so is the battery underneath here held on with Velcro. So I do trust Velcro. However, it's not ideal for putting this thing on and off many times. Okay, you could argue we're not going to put it on many times, but we'll find out. I'd rather have something a little bit more substantial. So I'll look at that before the maiden flight, but that literally is hopefully only a few minutes work, says Pete. It turns into hours. Yeah, so there you have it. Hopefully you've the people that have been watching my videos have stuck with me and seen the completed project. So I guess maybe we should have a guess as to, in the comments as to whether this is going to fly, yes or no. The only thing I think why it will fly is the centre of gravity is quite good now compared to some of my other models, and B, I think also, I probably mentioned this before, but in the war, hawser gliders were used to deliver ammunition to the front line in World War II, and those gliders carried up to 10 times their own weight. Now, obviously, they didn't fly extremely well. You could say it was like, almost like a controlled crash. Once they were towed up by other aircraft and then let go, they descended quite quickly, but they still glided to the front line and probably crashed when they got there with the ammunition for the troops to continue fighting. So that was a success for many of those Hawser gliders. And as I say, 10 times their own weight, whereas this is, if I'm 7 ounces, should be 2.25. What's that? Let's say three, 2.5, 3 times what it should be. I think it be able to handle that. It will, for me, it will just fly faster because it's heavier, so therefore it's going to cover the ground more quickly. But it should still glide. Is what I've got in my head. But I guess we'll find out at the maiden flight. So as soon as I have that, I'll record it. So don't worry, you won't miss it. And then I'll put that on, get the maiden flight, hopefully under my belt, and fix anything that needs fixing if she does go in heavy. And then hopefully it'll then be Westbury White Horse to throw the thing off. I'll give my daughter the pleasure of throwing it off there, and we'll see what happens there. So it's good. I'm quite excited. Hopefully you can pick this up. Yeah, because we're now getting to reckoning day. Um, so we'll see how things turn out. Hopefully it'll fly, it will return, and I'll be able to do that many times. But if not, I really don't mind because I'll be building something else. So either way, it's a win-win for me. So I've really enjoyed it. I can't stress enough how much fun this has been, building a balsa wood glider, attacking all the problems as I've gone through. And we'll find out at the end of the day, does it fly or doesn't it? Um, so so hopefully stick with me. Hopefully the next two videos should be more interesting than all the ones probably so far. So, okay, thank you for watching. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Cheers then, bye.